Hello, everyone. This is Mike from Dimensional Walking. And today, I wasn't going to do a part 3 of the alien and Antarctica crisis that I did a part 1 and part 2 on a couple weeks ago. So I decided I had to because an event happened that is forcing me to do it. And so anyways, let me get right into it. So like I say, I had a part 1 and a part 2, and I talked about various sightings and various conspiracies that people have been following for years, evolving around Antarctica and various things. And you can pick up on all that in part 1 and part 2. And I'm not going to go over any of that. I may briefly mention it in here. But anyways, we're going to talk about the eastern part of Antarctica. A lot of the things I talked about in part 1 and 2 were actually in the western part of Antarctica, except for one part of it, which dealt with the extreme heating in the eastern part of the continent that happened in mid-March, where the temperatures rose between 50 and 90 degrees above normal, which was unheard of. These are air temperatures now I'm talking about, of course. Anyways, so that was a huge event that happened. And so I want to tell you a little bit about that eastern part also. In the eastern part, in 2006, there was this anomaly underneath the ice shelf there off of the east. And what it was is, and it's speculation basically, and it's speculation both by, internet conspiracy folks, which, I'm part of those folks in many ways. So it's not a negative thing necessarily. And some scientists, okay? Well, the scientists are saying, and maybe they're absolutely right, that there's a massive object underneath this area in the eastern part of Antarctica. And what they're saying is it's an asteroid that landed or collided with Earth and don't quote me on this, I believe it's 30 million years ago. It's during the Promethean, Triassic period. And I know there's some people that know exactly every period and every millions of years and all that good stuff. And if I'm wrong, let me know, okay? Anyways, about 30 million years ago, I believe. And this collision happened, basically, this asteroid is what the scientists are speculating, okay? They don't know for sure because it isn't easy to go down there and find this and touch it and feel it and all those other good things that they need to do to prove it, okay? But anyways, there's some indicators from the surface that there's a great deal of gravitational pull, meaning it's a massive, heavy, dense object down there, okay? Now, the conspiracy people are also speculating that they've seen UFOs down in that particular area, going in and out of mountains, etc. Very similar to what I told you about in the western part of the Antarctica. But this particular thing happened in the eastern part of Antarctica. So they also speculating maybe this is the entrance to the hollow Earth, maybe Nazi bases again. We talked about that in part 1. That whole kind of situation going on there, which may or may not be true, but it's probably just as good of a theory as the asteroid hitting it, okay? And that probably caused some extinctions, etc., 30 million years ago. So anyway, so that's kind of what's going on there. This is called Wilkins. It's a Wilkins land area where this gravitational pull is really particularly strong, and under that area, which I believe it's something like about 300 miles across, where this supposed asteroid or underground alien base is, okay? So anyways, it's and one of the reasons they can't get to it very easily is because there's this very thick ice shelf there. Traditionally, this part of Antarctica is the coldest, most remote. It's everything completely making life difficult to go there and actually find things out. Okay, so it would be an ideal place, no doubt about it, an ideal place for alien groups to hide out, because humans seem to stay away from this particular area because of the extra extreme conditions. So, okay, so anyways, that's kind of it. So it's either it's either an alien base underneath there, or it's actually this asteroid, this killer asteroid that it caused extinction to a lot of creatures on the Earth X number of million years ago. Okay, so then back to the climate situation. As you remember, I told you that Antarctica, basically, I think I did mention that this all kind of, that the heat, the extreme heat was happening actually in the eastern part of Antarctica, which is unusual because the western part is always considered a one that there was a lot of kind of activity over hundreds and even thousands of years, where there was warming and cooling, and there was the icebergs created over there, and some of the ice shelves even fell into the ocean, etc. So it was a kind of an unstable area of Antarctica, but the eastern part is always said to be the most stable area. Okay, nothing much was going on there, and hasn't for a very, very, very long time. But that all changed. That all changed just a couple of weeks ago. Okay, and I'm going to tell you the date, because if I replay this, 6 months down the road again. So this would be March 2022. Okay, and so all of a sudden this heat comes along. And I even told you, the scientists said, don't worry about it. This part is very stable. And this heating that we talked about, even though it was extreme, wasn't going to affect anything. Well, guess what? They were freaking wrong. Wrong. Anyways, two glaciers. One is called Conger, and the other one is called the Glenser Glacier. Both of them in this area we've been talking about on the east, both of them took a hit. Within a week, they looked like, from satellite pictures, it looked like there was some deterioration starting to happen. There was a little slippage. There was some of it falling into the ocean. And then suddenly it disintegrated, basically, or parts of it disintegrated. They've never seen anything like this before. Now, let's all remember, is once you get ice that's on land into the ocean, it's going to raise the sea levels. Okay. Now, I mean, I've heard all kinds of numbers. If we lost 50% of the ice that's on Antarctica and it ended up in the ocean, that water would melt, and we would have seas that would rise up feet, many, many feet, hundreds of feet. Some people say hundreds of feet. Some people say around 100 feet. If it all melted, I don't think they really quite know, but it probably would be horrific, very horrific. So we had a big hit. I don't know how much that could be. It may be a few inches. It could be a few feet. The only thing good that's going to come out of this is that they're moving into their dark, or their cold, the very coldest season of the year, which I guess we would call winter in the Northern Hemisphere. It's moving into that. So that could solidify things so it doesn't continue at all, even though they had this terrific hot, I guess you'd consider it hot, episode that probably caused this. No doubt it caused that. I don't see how anybody could argue this. It didn't. It never has happened before. Suddenly we get these crazy temperatures, and now right after that episode, then we have all this ice falling off the glaciers into the ocean. So this is a really very serious situation. I mean, guys, come on, it really is. I know there's a lot of people out there, climate deniers, etc. But I don't get it. I just really don't get it. This is real stuff. Okay. So the scientists were saying, some of their comments, I always like to listen to their comments because some of them are pretty good. They call this a monster blowout. So that's pretty impressive. A couple words there. Um, so anyways, what does this all really mean? Okay. Well, it means that I believe that the tipping point basically has passed, meaning that the glaciers around the world and the glaciers on Antarctica. Oh, sorry. Anyways, the glaciers on in Antarctica, they're going to continue to melt during the, I guess their summer season or their warm or their light season, whatever they call it. They're going to continue, and what the water is coming. Okay, it's going to come. It's going to be strong. It's going to come. Excuse me. Sorry. Let me just turn this phone off real quick. Okay, here we go. Anyways, so what this means is a couple things. We're in deep doo-doo, okay? That's number one. Number two is those bases, if there is a base in that part of Antarctica, the eastern part, it's going to be very exposed. And I think they're not going to like that. The aliens that are there do not want to be exposed. So it's going to be a big deal for them. It's a big deal for us. It's a huge crisis. And I just had to do this third part to let you know what is happening and what is accelerating. It's like a freight train. And it's probably unstoppable right now. And I think the only thing I can tell everybody, because I've been following this most of my life, even with the alien part in it, in the mix, just be prepared. We have to be prepared. It's coming much faster than they've said. I had said 10, 15 years ago, it was coming super fast. And even what my predictions were 10 or 15 years ago were not even close to what it is. It is so much different now. It's going to continue that way. So anyways, please be prepared. Maybe sometime I'll do a video on what prepared means, but I wouldn't be buying any land for future use down the road, 30, 40 years on the coast, anywhere's on the coast in the world. So with that said, thank you very much. Sorry about the 2 phone calls. But anyways, we'll see you. If you have some comments, comment here, or you can send an email to dimensionalwalking@gmail.com. And other than that, like us, subscribe, and God bless. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.